and be well. We are back. We are back. We are back.
Hello.
Another episode
What's up? Hello.
of the B.R.O podcast. To my left, we got the one and the only.
What's up? It's Jason, STARR, your neighborhood lawyer.
And to my right, the one and only
Coach Coop, the young man with the old soul.
Ooh.
It's to the stage. It's me, the one and only D. Sixx. If you say it 3 times, I'll appear in your bank account.
Oh, wow.
Don't
Six.
say 3 times. Oh, my God.
That money.
Yo, it's so good to be back. Doing another great episode with you good brothers.
Yes.
The round table.
The round
Yeah.
table.
Yes.
The round table.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a good name. What Jada Pinkett had? They had the red table.
Red table.
Yeah, the red table. With a black round table.
This one's black.
The black and the black.
Blickety black. Now, Planet Black. I gotta drop that in the comment section later so people can go watch that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Today's episode.
What you talking about? So what you got on your mind, Sixx? Lord Jesus.
I think this one is actually nice.
It is?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think this one is nice.
Let's see.
Yeah, we're going to remain to be seen. Let's go.
Let's see. I feel like a setup.
No.
Today's episode is called Check Your Circle.
Okay.
Check.
Check your circle.
Check your circle. I think it's really real.
That's
I think
critical.
when we think about who we are, we are a reflection of our circle.
Mm.
Are we doing inventory? It's spring cleaning.
I'm the only person with goddamn headphones on. I'm like, why am I really hearing? Yeah.
All
My
y'all
bad,
hear.
bro. My
No
bad.
editing. No
no,
post pro on that. Just let it
Yeah,
rock.
my bad,
No, but here we are. We're in this season of we're springing forward. We're spring cleaning, and I think that also reflects on who we are as the people we keep around us.
Right.
Are your friends making you sick, or are they making you stronger? Are they adding to your inventory? Are they depleting the deposit?
Are they there?
Are they even there?
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about today. I think it's necessary to have that honest conversation. Only because we know that as men get older, we lose our friendships.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And there's a statistic and there's some number out there that men will make their last intimate, actual best friend at 30.
Mm.
And after that, we become subject to responsibility, life, family, and then we stop to make those moments for our intimate friendships.
Mm.
And so we end up taking along for the long ride things that no longer serve us in the new season that we are in. So the question is, have you checked your circle?
Is that a question? Is that rhetorical?
That's just out there for
That's the
everybody.
first question.
That's just throw it out there. But the real question is when's the last time you called a friend? Not to vent, not to check in, but just to be with them.
Just to be with them.
Mm-hmm.
But not checking in?
Not checking in, just yo, hi, how you doing today?
Well, I'll say in my circles,
Yeah.
because I don't have one circle,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably the most terrible friend.
Oh.
So every time I say something like that, Chief, you look at the camera like, don't say that. Trying to figure out what you're talking about.
I don't feel that.
I am probably just because I'm always in mission mode, and I've always been like that. That my friends were like, yo, you ain't shit. Like, you don't call me. This, I gotta call you. And I'm like, well, take a number. My mama got to call me too. So it's something that I've developed from a kid, being like the only. I have brothers, but they weren't like really raised with me. So I was raised with my sisters, and they had each other, and then my mom and my dad had each other. So like early on, I had this perception that I was alone. Like it's me. It's like I'm the only one that had a room to myself. My sister shared room, my mother and father shared rooms. Like those images and things that I perceived early kind of like put me in a world like never really getting too close. And then I lost friends early to gun violence. And I got literally tired of going to funerals and being in that pain. So as I became like in my later teens and my young adulthood, like the friendship thing, I almost became like PTSD in a sense. Where I would meet people and befriend them in the thing that we were doing. And I have the ability that if I'm off doing something else, I'm in that space. So whoever's in that space, I am locked in with them. Now, it's not that I tarnish relationships because I can go to any one of those circles, but I think I've developed multiple circles, so I don't have to experience that level of loss or loneliness. So I think so the reason why I went first is I knew that would be complex, but friendship for me and bonding was very I had a lot of trauma associated with it.
What about you, Jay?
I want to say this first because hopefully the listeners, viewers know that I'm your neighborhood lawyer. Now, and Barry is like the best witness I've never prepped for trial because he answers the question he want to answer, not the question that is asked. Like y'all heard that, right? The question was, when the last time you checked on a friend? Barry was like, I'm going to answer this question.
Well, I had to give context because I don't think that I do that.
I hear you.
Yeah,
No, I hear you.
so-
And I actually think, I think that's probably true for a lot of people because one of the things when you were talking just about preserving the integrity of those relationships, but maybe what's right in front of me and right here is kind of what I have capacity to check in on and be around. I think like so much of friendship, particularly in adulthood, but even in childhood, right, is proximity.
Yeah, it's proximity.
Right? Proximity
Yeah,
is like who you're around. And I wonder, because I feel the same way too, right? Like I grew up in South Carolina. I went to college in Miami and South Florida. Like I moved to New York. I've gone to law school here. I've had different jobs here. I've been involved in different things here. And I'm like, I got all these different like nodes of friendship or whatever. But oftentimes like the things that are right there. And then I get lucky too, because so many of or not so many, but just a good number of my like my peoples live like a mile or two away. So you even have like the social aspects of like, oh, I want to go out to dinner. I want to go out to this.
Yeah.
So it makes kind of like those friendships and relationships where, they're physically distant or just like, they over here doing their thing and then you over here doing your thing, more work to maintain. Although the flip side of that coin is like the thing you said, which is I can always go back to those and it's like, and we all have those people or those situations where it's like, yo, I haven't seen you. And sometimes, like I just did my 20-year college reunion last year, and it was like, yo, those people I haven't seen in 20 years. As a matter of fact, I ran into you with one of my friends on the street a couple of weeks ago from Oakland. Like I hadn't seen her in like 20 years, and here we kicking it like. So
nothing.
I think because we're talking today about friendship, we're talking today about social wellness, and I think it speaks to that domain of wellness where interdependence, the ability to build and maintain healthy relationships,
multiple,
are is a sign of wellness. And I talk a lot about why I have these bees tattooed on my arm, which is making that connection between we are meant to be interconnected and interdependent beings, and we are always going to feel a sense of unwell when either we don't have those filial family style relationships, brothers, siblings, etc. And or when we have them and they're unhealthy.
Yeah.
And then I'll say I do it often enough. I think I'm nosy with my friends because
you check it. You check it.
Yeah. And but the only reason why I had to get better at that is it was one point. If you check out our B.R.O..org, I wrote a story about like when I fell into depression. But the part that I left out was that like I went on like a road trip before I was depressed. And I went off the grid for like 2 months or something like, and I wasn't taking no calls. And people thought I was dead. And like I text my mom, but everybody else, I was like, I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to like open up about like what I was struggling with. And then when I had came back, I got like a lot of heat from the people I known since like, I got like a group of friends I know since I was 10. And we still friends to this day. And so like they were really about it, like, yo, Sixx, you got this oddness about you where you just don't talk it. You can't do that to us. And so like that was kind of like a scary moment for me. Like people who I know for a long time, and I'm 21, 22 at this time, going through like my own thing, and they're just like, if you don't talk, we don't know. And so I've just always been good about that. So I keep a good balance of like just calling this. I don't really want nothing. I just want to hear what you got going on. But that brings us to the point. I think that in the ethos of the conversations that I'm hearing a lot about is that, do you think in our collective wisdom here about the male loneliness epidemic is a thing? That's the trending topic right now in a lot of spaces.
I would say I don't know if it's an epidemic, so I don't want to speak to, because I don't have facts in that.
Okay.
But I will say to something that Jason brought up earlier, I do think that a lot of friendships in our culture, in our community, is based in the proximity. And I've seen in my work, especially like working with young men who are from like public housing, or just like in urban settings, they don't never really get it, like they don't get a chance to explore. So the friendships are developed based on survival,
Trauma
and
bonding.
trauma based, and fear, and they take care of each other, but then it's like underlying, like they don't really connect. They don't really maybe mesh. Personalities are very different. If they were had the ability to have more openness and explore, they probably wouldn't be with each other. They probably wouldn't hang with each other because they don't actually even think alike. So yeah, so even though they're together, they still feel alone. And I think that's just some of the things that I've experienced, but I don't know if like, that's something that we should look into. Like,
Well, that's the thing that I wanted to bring to the viewer, to our community, is that's a thing that's being said in other spaces. What's
I knew this shit was gonna go somewhere crazy.
I went quick.
Nah, cause you're right though, cause I mean, I have
Trench coat mafia.
maybe like 3-4 years ago, like when we was kind of like, oh, like this COVID isolation stuff is not good. Like we maybe need to think about it. And this sort of like started to come out a little bit as like, ooh, like loneliness as this concept, as this reality. Maybe like why what is technological advancement, social media, digital engagement, that kind of stuff. Like all the social dynamics I thought were interesting. Then it started to get drawn down into like male loneliness. Like this is the reason the men's are not okay. And I was like, I don't know about that. Like that's a leap right there.
That's a big leap.
That's a leap. That's a leap. That's a leap. But one thing I did want to kind of maybe take out of that it connects to some topics that we've been talking about, and that, just is a part of the work that we do here, which is I use that word interdependence.
Yeah.
Which is something I kind of noticed or started to observe when I looked at like female friends or like female friend groups in my adulthood. And I don't like to make broad generalizations about men and women, but like, just something in my experience that I noticed was, groups of women in my life, they had little issue being interdependent.
Yeah, they have
the girls' night, like you tell, like I need you, you need me, let's, and when we were together, like that idea that like, it may be together, and we're doing something that is a shared interest, maybe we're watching the game, we're doing this, we're doing that, but there's these themes that we've talked about, this sense of like personal responsibility, like I gotta do it, I gotta take care of it, like etc. That becomes a barrier to that core piece of friendship, which is interdependence, right? The idea that like I may have homies, we may hang out, we may even check in, we may yada, but we really not leaning on each other. And my therapist was like opening up, sort of like pushing me on this, which is that like, you being me have the like that hero complex, that martyr complex, that thing. And like your friends are not just waiting on you to be there for them, they waiting on you to let them be there for you. Yeah. And that friendship is not there if that reciprocity of need isn't shared.
And Jason just opened the door for the best question.
Well, before you go to the question, I want to like.
No, yeah, go ahead.
I think that was such a poignant point. I think it's because we don't want, also subconsciously, we don't want to feel like we need other people helping us. Right? Like, man is supposed to provide,
See.
you said the third. So if your boy is providing a thing for you, especially emotionally, like, like, that's not happy. Like, nah, bro, I'm good. Catch you on the flip side. We don't want that.
We don't even want to go to the coffee shop.
Yeah,
Like, what y'all got? What y'all got? No, I got mine. I got mine.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
Go get me my chai, bro.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
right.
Like,
I'm good. I'm good. I got it.
Like,
Which I think, all right.
Oh, you think I'm broke?
Yeah.
Which I think is,
that's crazy. And I had to shake that shit. I'm definitely a ghetto kid, so it's just like, nah, I'm good. I want no half of y'all ices.
That triggered real. That was funny. That's funny. And I don't know where I've been in that dynamic because like I've always had this, like, and I'm lucky, and I say this, and I know and I think some of us have had this opportunity too, where like I've had the same friendship for like off the boat in 96. So like I've had my same friend since 1997.
That's beautiful.
Yo, Illy Solano, love you, man. Yo, that's my man. And his mom and all that. Like his whole family is my family. And Tev, Drew, we all known each other since 10 years old. We're all in our 30s. And whether we went to college in different places, we still always came back home. We traveled each other's state, but we always looked at each other like, yo, this is it. 5 friends. And that was always the thing. So like we shared everything. Car rides, everything you could think about outside of, love interests was us.
Yeah.
Share clothes. I got these Avizus. Like, what size you is? Like, everything was always shared for us. So like, I always looked for that in my friendships. It's like, are we sharing together? Like, we gonna make space and share and like break bread with each other, like always. Which I think is always dope about how you create environment here.
Yeah,
is about like sharing and like everything has to be an interactive sharing moment. So like I've always looked at it as the only way that we should be together.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think so to that point that we were talking about earlier, when I gave context instead of answer the question, my 2 best friends I lost when I was like 13, 14. So Johnny died from gun being shot in Tompkins, and little Joey died. He had like a form of cancer. So I seen death on 2 ends, and those were like, we did everything together. Like, we didn't move. Like, Johnny lived around the corner. Joey lived in the next Lexington. And they were like my world. Like everything that you could do, and they were gone, right?
How old were you when
you lost so Johnny died when I was like 18, and then Joey passed away at like 20. So it was just like, and then in that, in between that, just cats that I knew in the 90s and 2000s, like people were like, gunfire was like crazy over here. But to lose those 2 that early, it definitely, I was like, like it's weird to make new friends and your 2 friends die. Like that, I think I never, and nobody gave me therapy for that.
Yeah.
And I don't even think going through therapy, I never really talked about that. It was like other relationships, living relationships, but no one ever taught me how to mourn my best friend. And I often think about them all the time. Like how, I don't want to be triggered, but
no, abstain.
Can I, it's so interesting, like, how these dynamics show up in like totally different places. Because I used to do, still do a little bit, but I used to do work like with like older LGBTQ adults, particularly those who were like in their 20s and 30s in the early 1980s during the HIV and AIDS epidemic. And they tell these consistent stories that sound a lot like that, which is some of them lost, they were going to a funeral a week or every other day. And they were like, they looked to the left and the right and their friends were just gone. And they had this like, how do you mourn that? You learn to grieve like a parent or a grandparent or whatever, but how do you mourn like that? And then the guilt they talk about of like, well, so then I just make another friend, and then we just, like, how does that work? It's just interesting you mentioned being in that age range and experiencing a different kind of epidemic but like the same kind of loss and trying to figure out how do you
Yeah.
move forward with that grief while also continuing to build this aspect of your wellness that we agree is like essentially that
it's
important.
critical. It's critical. Like even in both of my matter, I was married once. It was difficult to pick. Like I had another best friend, like my best man, B.R.O, who was there. But even in the process of thinking that, the first thing I thought was like, damn, Johnny and Joey not here. I mean, and it wasn't that B.R.O didn't deserve it. And even in my second marriage, he was my best man then, right? Because he always, he was there to my in my young adult life. But that thing it still follows me. Like I think I don't really get too close because of that.
And I think, it was when I was gonna go to the segment that I was gonna ask the question that we always do a great job at. And if you're not listening and watching, you need to.
Vulnerability is real.
But it's like, where did our friendships go? And like we both kind of navigated both of those type of dynamics of like in the concept of friendships, where did they disappear to, where did they go, and how did they shrink and how do they change? For all of us in the journey. And I'll be mine didn't change. I became a little bit more of like, I think stingy with my ability to make friends. Because I felt fulfilled. And I was like, I don't need friends. I got
new friends.
Yeah, I was like, I don't need a friend kind of person. Like,
no.
I'm just like, if it catches, it catches. And I stopped making an effort to make friends. Because I felt comfort in what I already had. So like, I always felt confident to go anywhere and be like, well, if you don't like me, I got people that like me anyway.
Yeah.
And they going to pull up, say something. And because that was a friendship that I had cultivated for a long time. And then I saw the unhealthiness about myself. That like me not being vulnerable to make new friends, my world was small. And especially here, I was like, I don't even want no New York friends.
Yeah. New York is cute. Yeah, we crazy.
Everybody's scared, man.
I think I went out on a limb of like building a village of people.
Yeah.
So I kind of like had people in all different parts of Bed-Stuy because I didn't want to like feel that feeling anymore. Like I was just relying on those two individuals to fill me up. That pause. That somebody on the internet would have definitely killed me when they gonna kill me when they hear that.
Nah, we go.
Like, what he said? So I made it my business. Somebody gonna get me for that one.
No.
They mean everybody, so I know. But I made it my business to kind of like pop into different places, give my energy, bounce to another location. That was intentional. That was very intentional.
I don't know the question you asked, but I do know the thing that like where'd your friendships go?
Yeah,
like
where'd your friendship go?
the thing that came to mind to me was like kind of like my own evolution, which is I feel like my relationship to friendship grew. And maybe not my relationship to friendship, but my capacity to be a friend or what like a friend meant like to me like grew. But I always had this so I'm adopted, right? But I have a huge family. Like my mom got 10 brothers and sisters. They're like 30-something first cousins. Like
biological or adopted more?
Adopted. I don't know anything about the biological.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you always grew up with the cousins, like that was your first friend. You know, that you get out there. My grandma's house, I used to call it the cut. Everybody get dropped off, like situation. But I always wanted brothers. I got a younger sister. She's 10 years younger than me. And she's my parents' biological kid. And I got like a couple of male cousins that were like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. But I always wanted like brothers. Like, I just had this idea of like, so I feel like when I went, like particularly went away to college, you just sort of kind of start to like put to practice the things that you learn values wise. Like now mama not sitting there like, don't bring that nigga up with my house no more. Like now you gotta filter and do it yourself. I did find myself like
I like that one.
Yeah, like you gotta do you got the filter is huge, all right? So like you gotta I found myself like leaning towards like figuring out how to pick up like friendships like that always. But like friends and chosen family have like always just been kind of like
A staple.
a staple, and I think one of them is moms, right? Who was always kind of like checking for who you was running around with, because even though she didn't have the quote or whatever that I learned later, well, but it was basically that same adage, right? Like you could tell a man by the 5 people he's spending the most time with, or something along those lines, right? She was embedding that because she was saying and teaching like, hey, you're gonna be influenced by the people you are around. I'm gonna teach you how to pick good people, what those values are, etc. But like, this is a big part of how you have to live your life.
Nice.
I just didn't know I was gonna move 12 or 13 hours away at 17, and that was gonna kick in like right there. But I think that is one reason why I was always kind of like, hey, like friends, picking good friends, like being good to them, was always kind of something that was foundational. But I also think being a queer person means you approach friendship, or a lot of us approach friendship, because for so many queer people, they have to choose another family.
Yeah.
I didn't have that experience where I was ostracized, but I did have the experience where I was the only queer person. I didn't have any queer uncles or older cousins. Well, I did have one older cousin, but we came to figure that out much later, right? But like growing up, you sort of didn't have people to teach you how to be you didn't have those like. So sometimes you have to
accept it. Like,
well, not even that. Not even that. Like, even if you have broad acceptance, if everybody in your family is heterosexual, right? Then who teach you about the birds and the bee? Who teaches you about like? So a lot of times you have like a queer auntie or a queer uncle or someone who you choose and say like, hey, I need that extra family. I need that extra guidance. So I think the concept of chosen families amongst queer people maybe it's something that's a bit staple.
Yeah.
So for me, like growing up in a conservative Christian environment, and again a very accepting house. Like I was never gonna lose my shelter, the love of my family, etc. But I still needed specific guidance from those. So I had to go out and also pick up other family like that too. So I think it also kind of lends itself towards like understanding that you have to create some family around you, whether you're queer or not, right? Yeah. Just a concept of doing that. Yeah.
Even external from the guardians that you have.
Right.
Yeah, that's critical. I think that runs through. Like you have to, but not even have to, but we just naturally, as we are explorers, you start to, because even your family, they may not, and I don't even think it's rooted in sexuality or gender.
It's not. They may just not get you, or they may just not get you.
Yeah, they don't.
Maybe they are like my family. Everybody was like laborers, and they were like
100%.
school, college, like reading books. What you doing? Like
like you smart.
And they used to say something like, "Oh, that nigga gonna save us." I'm like, I'm 12.
You the ticket.
And now, like, if you think about that, like, you being adopted, like, what messages they send you? Because you already know I'm not
right.
You got blood, so now you think I'm your savior? Like you should write a book.
In the works.
Yeah, man, that's powerful. That's a powerful story.
But I'm glad I gave the example from my experience, in terms of the chosen family piece. But I think it's a really important thing to extrapolate out. Period, right? Like it's not just about sexuality or gender identity or anything. It's just about the idea that we do start with hopefully learning to socialize at home amongst our families, obviously school, but this idea that somehow we're also like that friend circle, if you will, or those circles, is really that it's chosen family.
It's chosen, and it's and again, how you get there.
Yeah.
Coop brought up the survival aspect of trauma bonding through experiences. Or proximity does that. And then I know for me it was proximity a lot, and it was culture. Being Haitian, growing up in Miami in the late 90s, it was bully central. If you was Haitian, they had jokes and they was trying to it was trying to get
Edit song.
Little Haiti, Miami.
And New York, it was even more brutal.
Oh yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah, I wasn't playing up here. But down there,
yeah,
like it was a matter of survival.
Yeah.
And for us to be like all little Haitian kids.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, Petit Frere, Saint Francois.
Yeah, I ain't see
Like, okay, all the last names match up. All of us black.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
And this is our protection, rooted in community. But it was protection, and then the world changes.
Yeah.
Haitians become cool, and so then it's not so much a survival need for me to be your friend because nobody.
Yeah.
No more.
And then y'all realize y'all not really connected.
It could be, and it ends up like that. I think, again, I always will use myself as just a caveat of like being lucky enough that my friend circle ended up being something that evolved and grew with me because we just all had the natural alignment of like, yeah, we gonna play ball, we all play football, we all ran track. And so like our life was gonna be what our life was. But I think when I got older, and this is gonna be what the next part really is, that I had to start thinking differently.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask, like, because you both have talked about like long-standing friendships, particularly you, Sixx, about like this group of guys you've been around since you've been 10. And like you're not the same person you were at 10 or at 18 or at 25, right? And one of the things I've observed is if no matter how long the relationship has gone on, no matter how foundational it was, if you're not doing work today to build and maintain adult relationship, that's not going to overcome the length of the relationship or how long it lasted, right? Like if you are just resting on, well, we just known each other forever, right? Likely that is not necessarily going to be enough to sustain a healthy adult relationship. Because it's like one of the things I noticed in my family, for example, where my parents and like that generation, my mom, her sisters and brothers, like they weren't raised to have no friends. They couldn't have nobody come over there. Their house, they couldn't go over nobody. Like, I was bringing behind right back here to this house. Like that was not a thing, right? So it was just a 10 of them, right? That was it. And I noticed that like now they hate each other, like because they're just like, I'm like, why do you like they do no work on having healthy adult relationships with each other. All they do is rest on the fact that they were born and raised in the same house. Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
And that's the cost of
Sorry, guys. I love y'all, but ain't nothing I ain't saying to your face.
It's true. That's true, though.
And that brings up and eloquent as always. And if you don't follow Jason on Instagram on all platforms, if you're not looking for some good representation, you are doing wrong. But, there is a cost to bad circles, right? There is an actual cost to it. And you talk about, deteriorating relationships. But there's also like, for all of us, have you ever stayed in a friendship that was past its expiration date?
Not me.
Yeah, I was about to be like, hell to the no, to the no.
I self-preserve like a mother. Nope.
I get missing.
Not me.
And I don't necessarily love that, like,
I thrive in it.
But, I mean, not just to get missing part. Like, I would love to say in every situation I sit down and be like, hey, so here's the ways you fucked up. And here's the boundaries you cross, and this is why it's not happening. But like when I say get missing, I mean like get missing. Yeah.
For me, I think the opposite. I don't even think it's my place to tell you what to do or why I left. Like if I see things that you are doing that don't align with my morals or who I am as a person, I'm backing off because you living your best life. You living your life. I don't even want to have that conversation with you. So not unless it's like a direct thing that you did to me, I'm gonna let you know, and then I'm gonna take a step back, right? Because I need to let you know that you did something to me. But sometimes I may back off my boys because I don't like the way they move it. I don't like the way they treating their family. I don't like the decisions that they're making. I don't like the fact that they want to drink and do things to their bodies that don't serve them. But that's not my responsibility.
Right.
My responsibility, in my opinion, is to my children, right? And to my wife, and those are the people that I'm gonna give my opinions to in that type of way. I'll just digress. And then I'll catch you on the flip
Jay,
side.
you say you get missing, so I know that.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah.
It's a little too easy, and that's why I'm kind of checking myself a bit on making sure that when those opportunities these are there. Whereas where it makes sense, right? Where something like that has happened where, yeah, no, I need to say like this is a boundary and like cross it or like, hey, I've seen these things. But a lot of times, yeah, what I will do is just get gone.
I
Yeah.
think the synergy in this circle is
Yeah.
the same
Well, that
thing.
ain't by happenstance. I think a lot of people do it.
Yo, cause like I think I would say the same thing too. I'm gonna sound really coded when I say this. But I look at the cost benefits of what this means to me. And like I know the things that make me feel good and like, the things that like uplift me. And so if I'm introducing new energy to myself and I'm like, nah, I'm just no, we don't have to do this. And I the same, like ghost is an understatement about like how I kind of choose to move with all respect to like what Coop said, like, yo, you doing your thing. I'm not here to tell you how to change. If you're not receptive to like, maybe I'm like, yo, we trying to let true story, had a friend who'd up here, one of my first New York friends. And I was like, he liked to go out to the after hours on Wednesdays. I'm like, bro, it's Wednesday. You at the after hours? It's 4:30 on a Wednesday a.m.
Damn.
And that was his lifestyle. And I was like, yo, I'm not really into that. And I told him about like how he was moving. And he was like, yo, you on that Southern country shit. Like he tried to call me out like, I'm on some country boot shit. I'm like, yo, it's Wednesday at 4:30. You on your 30s. You got to be a better you by now. And he felt criticized. We had some words, and I was like, you know what? I overstepped. And that was the last time I had to have that conversation.
Yeah.
And so, like, like, I don't want to change you, but I ain't trying to be up with you at 4:30.
Absolutely. Catch you what I can.
Right. Well, and everybody's not for everybody.
Yeah.
There are things, there's shared interest and
paying attention to that, I think, what gets us to where we get to.
Yeah.
And like, not to say that we have that superpower of discernment, but I feel like that's a skill that we've all picked up and learned. Is like paying attention to the things that make like are honest to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unhealthy to didn't put your clothes on when you got cool in your eyes and you tired for the sake to appease.
Right.
So then, now this is like we've gotten to a point. So let's give something out. What does it look like in your like when you think of for those who don't know, of like what does it look like when a circle is holding you back or holding you down? What are some things you think might be good gems for people out there that's like trying to figure out and navigate that? Because that is a thing. People are suffering from like people pleasers. There are people who exist that like, I'm just trying to be down. And they will go to the moon and back and be hurt by it for people that might not have their best interest in mind, or they kept things too long. What are some things?
I would say, there's a lot to pay attention to, but one of the things I would pay attention to, and it may seem kind of simple in theory, but it can be kind of hard in practice because you start second guessing yourself but pay attention to the way the people around you react to like your passions. I think we live in a world where a lot of times like there's just so much messaging around making yourself smaller or like or not convincing you that like that ain't really for you or that's too hard or like
or too
much or like pivoting like that at that age don't make sense or like there's a lot, and practicality is important. We part of our responsibility as our friends, as friends is kind of help our friends kind of maybe think through like okay. But pay attention when you have like a song on your heart and you want to share it with the people you love the most. Man, I'm dreaming about this, or I'm gonna use my friend sitting across from me as an example, right? About 5 or 6 years ago, he says like, man, I want this building, man. I got this building. We gotta get this space, and I would like to think, and I hope that like, that immediate reaction was interest and curiosity and like. Ooh. Yeah, they're like, how we gonna pay for that? Came later, right? But it came with like a plan. Okay, so But I always tell you, okay, you gotta convince, like 100%. I believe it. All right, 100%. Okay, now how can we do it? Here's what I can do and help. Here, I can't do these things. I don't got bread for you, but I got this, right? Just kind of pay attention to, like, for me, like that, because I think one of the things that like good social relationships, friendships, like a good circle helps you do is to um put gasoline on your belief, and the flip side of that is when people are kind of like always kind of their immediate reaction is throwing up the like, well, this, but ain't you, but didn't you, whatever. I always sort of wonder, like, are you really saying that to me? Or are you projecting your lack of belief on yourself onto me? Because if I do something really amazing, if I believe it and then I see it and I create it, then are you really thinking about how good you feel about me or how bad you feel about yourself?
Facts.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But I want to validate that. That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why over the last 5 or 6 years, Jason, you and Jacob, I never let y'all leave my side, right? Like because of the level of friendship and trust that we've built with each other as adults, right? Like that is far and few in between. That you can find brothers and humans that will be around. And as I got older, that's what I wanted because I know I speak impossibility to people. And I never really got that back. It was always, you gonna do this? You gonna do that? So when I met you two, it was never a no. And I was thinking, what is this? You know what I mean? Like, and I had to like take away some of my own like thinking, right? Negative thoughts in our friendship and like really understand like y'all really just care about me. And absolutely, yo, like that your friends will never question the thing that you ain't even create yet. The moment that they start like, no, I gotta go. You know what I mean? Like I get because I'm gonna hurt you. So you trying to hurt my possibilities, right? Like and I was aware and yeah, so definitely I totally agree with that. Like
So give us another gem, Coop. Something that people have to pay attention to, or something that you've learned in the road travel.
I think that we should hang on to. I think Jason's gym is the gym.
That's the gym.
Yeah, because mine's is still skewed. I think.
And that's what we do here. Authentic.
Yeah.
His is still skewed. Like when it comes to like friendships and the way that I was programmed, there's a lot of still deprogramming that I'm doing personally. Even sometimes like I may move again as a general because literally my father taught me that. Like he would be like, yo, general, sit alone while you don't sit with your soldiers. So like I fight through that with creating open workspace. Like that's therapeutic things that, like obviously you wouldn't know until like this podcast, but those are things like, no, I gotta break that because I would move like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like literally I would be like, all right, I'm gonna bring this person in because they like this, that person, but it was like transactional and it was something that I had to break. So we're gonna lean on Jason.
I'm gonna lean on that, and
can I also I want to say something about friendship and social engagement. Let's call it. Because there's a rumor, it may be true, that I be in the streets all the time.
What do you mean? Like partying?
Well, no, I mean, back then, but just just in the, in the streets, like for the streets. Okay. So like, and I wanted to make the point just around like, being openness to like new connections and like that kind of thing, and like friendship, right? Because I think they may be a little bit different, which is to say, I think it's really important to have, the kind of friendship, close chosen family relationships, interdependence, reliability, people that you're loyal to, that check you on your shit, but that also support you, etc. And then there's another value in like being a person that's open to the world, that, and I encourage both because I think, the former, definitely strengthens certain pieces of one's like self, one's emotional resilience, etc. But I also think that like friendship and the possibility of friendship and social connection also keeps us in a posture of like wonder and curiosity and newness. How many times have you like been somewhere and you met somebody that you just click with and vibe with and they do something totally different and you're like interested in it and now they're like, oh, yo, follow me on, that may not be a person that you're like, I'm gonna be, but there's still a value in like that openness to like connection. So I just wanted to also make sure we hit on the idea that we've been talking about those like deep connections, but I think there's also a real value in I don't want to call them surface, but those kind of happenings where you meet people, you connect with them, you may or may not see them again, but they just continue to keep yourself kind of open to this.
And that's just connections, right? Like being open to exploring multiple connections. Like yesterday, I had a call with someone who was inspired by the CBS special that we had. And he's a writer and a journalist and into tech. And he was so inspired by the journey that we got on the phone and we ended up like, we so aligned. He was like, yo, I feel like I got a new friend. And I was like, yo, I feel the same, Mike. Like, and he's a white guy, Irish dude, all the way in New Jersey.
Right.
But it was like, we went in with talking about business to having so much alignment that we left feeling a connection. And I didn't, shun that. It was like, yo, that something happened, right? Like there was a moment, a brotherhood that was built in this short span of time. And let's cultivate that, right? Like if you want to get off the call and say we had a connection and call me friend and I feel the same, have that. I think that's the beauty. That's the beauty of life. That's multiple, yeah.
That's the human connection. That's the spark of the divine, I think.
That's prosperous.
Yeah.
Into living in an abundant
And
mindset.
I never met anyone who had an unexpectedly positive connection with another human being and didn't take it as positive, right? Yeah. Just
absolutely.
Every time. Some of my best adventures just in traveling and just, being courageous enough to just be like, home is just too small.
Mm-hmm.
And that was for me, that made me kind of just be like.
That's why I have to go on at least one solo trip a year where I'm like, I go somewhere where I don't even speak the language because then you have to make friends. Yep. And it was so funny. I went to Barcelona in 2019.
That's what
and the first night I was there, I had to text my friends. I was like, so look, I lost my phone. I lost my phone. I'm not gonna get another one. I'm gonna get a little phone with a Spanish number, but I met some people and we going on a boat on the Mediterranean tomorrow. Like
that. See, that's too much for my blood. That's too much. You drive me crazy. You drive me crazy.
I'm right behind you, Jason. I did the same thing.
I was like, I don't know these people, but we on the boat.
I'm totally.
Don't even speak the same
language. Go right back to the airport, sit in the airport, and pray that I find the phone. I ain't exploring shit.
I'm here for a good time.
And here, my wife Chantilly, she would definitely do the same thing. I'm not.
Right. I always think about going like when we went to Mexico? Your wedding, right? Yeah. Like the people that I met there that now, you become.
I don't know. I didn't know you met people. You met people there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Remember that night that crazy guy was in the bar?
Oh, my God.
They follow each other on Instagram now.
No, that's not that guy.
I was saying, what?
Jason be outside.
Oh, no. Yeah. Yeah, that was
that was nuts.
Yeah, it was us and him in the club. That was it.
That was the night of the wedding. Me and Chantilly were supposed to come back down, but we fell asleep.
They said, call the police here and to follow me in the bathroom.
And we was all wasted too.
I mean, you show up and they give you 2 or 3 bottles.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
That was a sidebar. I have no idea if that's gonna make the episode.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's all going in. It's all going in. I was just gonna say this, and just to like piggyback off your point, the adventure of meeting people and like allowing the human connection to happen, and not shutting that part off because you know whatever the reasons are, fear, insecurities, and all that makes life so limiting.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a greatness in like, my uncle said this, rest his soul, a man with 1 million friends has 1 million options. And like every friendship has its depth of connection.
True. Yeah.
But the goal is to at least be friendly
enough
to see what possibilities come from that.
Right. Right.
And so like being on random adventures, meeting random friends. Like I'm a Southern. We like to chat. I'm gonna sit next to you. I'm gonna chat you up. How you day? You know, what's your mom's name? Betty. That's my mama's name. Like I love to chat. I'm chatty. When I'm in my positive and I'm in my spirit and I'm in my flow, and then I'm like, yo, when I'm not well, I'm like, I'm too reserved, and I hate that moment about myself. Cause I'm like, I know I'm missing out on something if I'm not operating in that. And so that's
felt too.
Yeah.
No, it's felt.
And so like strong, bro. Yeah, exactly. So like, you know, being on this adventure, making that time for everybody out there, make time to go on that adventure of like, you never know what can happen if you open up the possibility to make a new friend. It doesn't have to be a lifelong friend. It don't gotta be a forever friend.
Yeah.
But you can make a new one.
I
Clifton, New Mexico, shout out to you. Is a fun story about that on our Patreon.
I wouldn't be who I am without friends.
Yeah.
You know, like, and not just like, but like really like quality, like friendships that give me a lot of courage.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I struggle just so much with like hero complex. And for me, like loyalty is my hallmark. You know, I'm always like, my friends would never question, you know, my loyalty, a duty and responsibility to them. But the real quality, like, is when I let the vulnerability, I bring the walls down, and I'm like, I'm gonna let you be my friend because I need it. Like, I really actually need you in my life. Like, I don't need you to do something specific. Maybe I do, but like, honestly, I just need you to be who you are and let me um, pull down the mask of everything being okay, or I can handle everything, or, you know, those kinds of things. So I want to shout out to friendship
That allows
really for that, you know, for that reason, and saving me, you know, so many times when I didn't have I'd have the strength or the know-how to whatever to save myself. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's real.
That's real. That's real.
That is.
I can't even. I can only second that.
Shout out to Jason Salmon. Happy 40th birthday. Hope you enjoy Mexico City, brother.
Birthday.
I will say this. I think we talk about that. And I think you just hit it. You opened something up for me about that. I think about, again, you know, this is the newest chapter in my life, being in New York, coming from South Cat. Check out that.
That was kind of a game. That was kind of a game.
But like, to your point, Jason, I think I remember I got two good buddies, Ryan, shout out to you, and Rocky. I was getting ready to move up here. I was getting ready to move up here, and at that point, I lived in South Carolina almost 8 years now. Had a nice little property, living my best life, and I was like, yo, I feel like this is small too. And they're like, yeah, I can see how that makes sense, you know. And I'm like, I'm gonna go to New York. And I told a few other people that, and everybody else was like, New York?
New York.
Ew. It's expensive. You're gonna be by, like, you don't even know nobody. This 10 million people, you don't know nobody in New York. I'm like, you're right. I ain't know nobody. I have one friend that lived up here, and they were like constantly like, you would love it here. And I was like, yo, I don't know nothing about it. And I was like real hesitant, because I'm like, yo, what if I go up there and I fail? Like, cause I have my own ambitions of why I wanted to move here. I'm like, but what if I go up there and it's like what makes me here don't translate there? And the two people that I shout out the most, so there's a lot of people, also Porter, shout out to you, all the people at Warm Mouth, I love y'all. That said, yo, but what if you succeed though? And that goes to what you like. If they're not pouring into you, well, they're like, yeah, if you fail, you fail. You can come back. Nobody gonna laugh at you. Yeah. Everybody don't make it in New York. But if you do succeed, imagine what the story gonna be like.
Facts.
And they poured that into me, and they, you know, lost my luggage at LaGuardia when I first flew in. And I called my man.
Dude, not a coming to America moment.
I did.
Take me to Queens at once. Take me to Queens at once.
I lost my luggage at LaGuardia.
Damn.
And I called my man. All I had was the clothes on my back. I called my man because I had to go to work that next. And I'm like, yo, I lost my luggage. I don't got. Yo, my apartment was falling through. Everything was fucked. And he was like, well, I'll send you something. You're going to buy you a nice outfit and you're going to go to work tomorrow and act like everything okay. And then my other man was like, yo, I got credit on my credit card. We put you in a hotel for 2 weeks. Like, the adventure gonna be the adventure. Don't let this moment stop you. So friendships like that,
yeah, that's priceless.
man, I met them as an adult.
Yeah.
And like you said, Coop, like people who don't laugh at the impossibility of their dream.
Yeah.
And
we need to do a sidebar. We need to do a New York City escapades like episode. So I can also like, especially for those of us that like didn't grow up here, because like, yo, I remember sleeping in a box truck the night before my con law 1 exam. In the back, because my apartment wasn't ready. Like, you had to move out one day, and then we couldn't move into the following day. But I had a con law final my first year of law school, so I just put all myself in a box truck, and then I slept in the back of it the night before the final.
New York will hurt you here, bro. This city, yo, Coop, the city you love.
Like, we've been through some stuff too now.
New York will hurt you, bro. I was on the phone with this man for 2 weeks before I moved up here. Talking about the apartment, send him all my money. I'm like, okay, I'll be there on the 16th. He's like, all right, I'll be waiting for you. Got off the plane. The number you have called.
That apartment was on West 417th Street.
And then you had no apartment?
No apartment.
And no money.
I gave that man everything I had with did the virtual tour. Like, this is going to be I'm like,
yeah.
And I was on St. Mark's, the apartment that I thought I was going to It was on St. Mark's.
St. Mark's in Des Moines, Iowa.
St. Mark's Indivisible.
Yo, I was like a little puppy sitting on the side, just like,
Dang.
And I lost my luggage. I had the worst first day in New York.
So then your friend put you in a hotel for 2 weeks.
For my friend put me in a hotel.
And then how you bounce back? Like, how did you?
Yo, my one friend that was here, shout out to you, Allison, Mama Shu. I told her the story because she was about the country, so she came back, and I was like, yo, I told her the whole thing. She got on the phone, called, like, she did some FBI level research to figure out, like, the retail company, everybody, and I finally got my money back a month later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, like, I was 2 weeks in the hotel, and I was like, bro, I need you to re it up. And he was like, all right. So they put me in a little Airbnb after that. And then somebody else who had connections up here helped me talk to a private landlord. And then I got my apartment on Willoughby. And then through another friend, like, just being vulnerable enough to be like, yo, I can't go back yet. Like, you cannot go off to a bad start. And I still ain't never get my luggage from LaGuardia at that point. So, like, all the clothes that I had moved up with.
Somebody stole my clothes when I moved to West City too, but they was in the back of my car. That was my own fault. Everything. I was wearing them same 2 pair of jeans for like, man, I ain't had nobody's coat. Like, yeah. Anyway, that's why you need friends.
That's why you need friends.
Oh, we went on a complete.
Definitely south, but I mean, it's necessary for the what's the name?
What, the character development?
Just understanding the qualities of
good friends,
of a good friendship, right? Like, even your lowest moments, your lowest points, they didn't question your judgment. They just dealt with what the situation was, and gave you the resources necessary so that way you don't give up on yourself, right? Like,
Well, it also supports a sense of adventure.
Yeah,
like there's just sort of like striking out on your own. That's hubris, right? But going on an adventure because you know that you've built and know how to build like solid quality relationships. I would have never dumped everything in my car and drove from Miami to New York to start the next chapter of my life without the exercise and energy of having gone through and saying like, hey, what does it look like to have to build like social wellness? It was like, okay, that's an important part of me being able to like take that step, especially when I didn't have anybody writing a check and saying, you sort of like
You gotta
know that you got to figure it out. Yeah.
Yo, that was scary. I was like, I sold everything. I left a nice house that I had in South Carolina, porch. Had a porch and a backyard with grass. Yeah, I know. You were
Green grass.
for steam exhaustion, New York City rats. Damn.
And catching the J train. Oh man. But that I digress.
Yeah.
But I will say, but everything you said too, Jason, I think is so key about like how we are actually being mindful of friendships.
Yeah.
Which is, check your circle. Without that circle, without those people, without all the other people who make up my life, I would not have had the courage or the self-confidence to like go on the adventure like New York City of all places that I never even visited for real. But I was always romantically in love with in my mind.
Yeah.
To actually go here and experience one of like the wildest month of living in the city.
And it's also about that recalibration too, like understanding that in your journeys you have the ability to make new friends.
Yes.
And to bring new people along for that exploration, or as you exploring, being open to allow people in, right? Like I think that's critical as well, right? Like that speaks volumes.
And that's great to what we end this off in. Because I think for the viewer out there, every listener, thank you so much for joining us on the B.R.O podcast.
Sure.
Follow us on all things and all platforms at bwellbro.org.
You know.
Everything at the bottom, you'll see it there. The mothership at the brofoundation.org. You know what is going on. And anytime you see this man, David Prize winner, Spark Truck.
Cheers.
Sun on him.
Yes,
Sun on
Kelly Clarkson. This
Kelly Clarkson show.
And if you catch Jason Star outside anywhere, please take a picture.
It is almost summer.
It is almost summer
Turn
time.
up.
But for all of that, we say thank you for listening. And then I'm gonna close it out with one more thing. One more thing for the people out there. Understanding it's okay to just be the friend that checks in. It's okay to be that friend. The friendship has so many different layers to it. Sometimes friendship is showing up when it's inconvenient. That is how these bonds are created. You got the friend that's messy. They gonna call you, and but they gonna be there for you when you messy. So it's a give and take in a lot of the relationships. So we want to make sure we put that out there. But the most important thing is that they have to feel you. They have to pour into you and make you feel like the best version of yourself. And when you think something is impossible, they say, nope, we just ain't planned yet. And that's the friendships we carry. That's the friendships we talk about here at the Bro Space, at the Bro Experience. And why Be Well is where you need to be at. And this is a community for you.
Amen.
So the checkout says this. Make sure that you are reaching out to somebody in your circle that gives you the same good feeling. Please do that. And then make sure that you make yourself available for the people too. Pick up that phone, send that text back. It don't matter how long you didn't left it on red. That's for Barry.
As long as I get back.
That's for me. That's for me too. And look, if you're in New York City or anywhere in the Northeast or north of the Mason-Dixon, if that's even a thing. If it was cold where you live at, it's about to not be cold anymore. Call your people, get outside, take a walk, go to the park, go to the museum, get your kids together, do something, spend some quality time together. It really, a lot of times, just be that simple.
Until
next time, right?
Be what?
Be well. Peace.